from an absolutely gleaming New South Wales Central Coast. As I look to the waters above, it's absolutely crystal clear blue. It's the same sort of language you'd use to explain the condition of your nice clean swimming pool, wouldn't it? Saw a thing there last night about Halley's Comet, and they put like a, you know, that comet, probably the younger people wouldn't remember, in 87. I was a big stargazer back then. I was about 14. Back then I was right in my stargazing. Loved NASA, I did, and my planets, and I had a telescope in the moon and all that. I loved it all. And there's a thing called Halley's Comet, and you could see it pretty good in the telescope, but with the naked eye you sort of had to look next to it, you know, to see it. But they showed some sort of footage of it last night on a video I watched, and it really just looks like a light coming through water. It really did. And I think back to when I actually saw it naked-eyed and in my telescope back in those days, and you go, yeah, it actually does. It actually did. So I've mentioned before that I get a Bible verse. I'd get a Bible verse, and I thought I'd put the sunglasses on for this video, because that last one, that red eye I've got's quite hideous, isn't it? It's in the shower. I've got something stuck in my eye, and in the shower I've been trying to get it out, and it just hasn't come out, and I've just got all sorts of weird things going on with my body at the moment, guys. It's just really, really strange. It's just all these, I don't know, just these things that are happening that have never happened before, and I don't know, I haven't had a beer or done anything unhealthy for over a month now, and I don't know, I just feel like I wake up with a hangover every day. It's quite strange what's going on. Quite strange. But what do? You keep going. You keep pushing for truth, and you keep playing with my light orb mates. Can't see them today. I don't think they're around. Maybe people will come back now because the light orb's gone. So, as I said before, that I get a Bible verse every day in my app. Oh, just saw some car park anger. There's a one of the white SUV beasts that I love so much, and it's just sitting there in everyone's way. Behaviour that it would absolutely deplore if somebody else did it to it, as they permanently tailgate and act aggressively, those cars. But this old lady, this little Toyota, she was most unhappy with it, and showed her wrath in the car park and accelerated away very quickly. That sure did show them. That big white four-wheel drive monster just sitting there. It's a real indication of what people are like as humans, as they are behind the wheel, I reckon. Anger. They're all angry. Proverbs 15:1 was the Bible verse today, let's try that again. Proverbs. I find it hard to say. It's got that V, not a B, so I say Proverbs, but it's Proverbs. Proverbs 15:1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. And that really resonated with me this morning, because I've spoken to you about that fella previously, where I went to help him move his furniture, and he did everything. So when we picked up the actual block, the unit, you know, when you pick pieces of furniture up when you're moving, it's easier to pick it up from the bottom, because then your knees are clear under it and you can walk, and the person in front, they've got clear sort of way underneath as well. It can get a little bit heavy, and it's when you first lift it, you've got to lift correctly and lift with your knees and brace your core and all that, but it's a lot easier lift, and you can carry it a lot easier. But no, he was concerned about my safety, and we had to do it his way, of course, because I was concerned he was going to blow up, because he's blown up previously about shit that doesn't matter. So anyway, we did it, and we had to lift it right at the top with our fingers, with a little bit that comes out the side, and we have to lift it up with our fingers. And I was walking, and I was at the front, of course, and I lifted it up with my fingers, and every footstep I took, it was hitting me in the back of the leg, and it was killing my fingers, and it's just, and I'm thinking, all you got to do is my way, which is the right way. It's not the right way because it's my way. It's the right way because it's the right way, and I deal in logic. And that's why the world hates me, and that's why I can't stand it here, is because I deal in logic in a world full of lies. That's why people think I'm a moron when I say the earth's flat. It's like, well, it is. But no, I'm a moron because I'm in a world full of lies and deceit and just ego. But anyway, and then when we get it to the doorway, it wouldn't fit in, so we just had to flip it up. We had it long ways, long ways, so we had to flip it up so it was like that, and we could sort of slide it in like that. No, that was as bad an idea as picking it up from the bottom. And he was ready to go around the front, and he's getting exasperated, he's getting angry, and he's blowing up, and he's rah, and he's all this. And I was only there because I was on my way in here to come to the gym, and he texted me, and he said, I need your help. I said, what's happening? And I said, he said, I just need some help. Yeah, goodness of my heart. Yeah, I'll come and help you, no problem. Goodwill to men and love your neighbour and all that. Yeah, no problem. I'll come in and do that. And he just gave me grief the whole time, But anyway, he eventually went, I've got a good idea. Yes, mate, let's do that. I really wish I had a thought of that 20 minutes ago. Well done. You're full of good ideas, mate. I know what you're full of. But anyway, we a few days later we come in here and we had a cup of coffee together, and he just said to me, he said, look, I've been thinking of getting in touch with my old man. And I said, well, that's good, mate. I said, that's a development. I said, because you and him haven't been talking, have you? And he said, no. And I said, is it just because he's getting on and you're worried about having regrets, your relationship with him after he dies? And he lost it. He just lost the plot, and he was in there, and he's yelling and screaming at me, and he's standing there, and he's, how dare you? And I'm like, seriously? And he stormed off. He went, F off! And he stormed off, and that was sort of 2 weeks ago, and I thought, oh, well, he's gone. That's good. But anyway, he texted me last night asking me how I was, and I ignored it. And he texted me a few hours later and said, get this, he goes, if you need to talk, I'm here. Yeah. And every time I do talk, he belittles me. And every time I do talk, I'm really, really on tenterhooks, like I am with everybody. I'm on tenterhooks that I'll offend him. Because that's what every conversation is with me and my whole life. It's just like, I just posted on Instagram that Jacinta Ardern is a Freemason and she's a creature, and straight away somebody's unfollowed me. It's like, well, the love of a politician is more important than a truth. I mean, seriously, who unfriends somebody because of their point of view about a politician? It's just strange. It's strange. But anyway, he says that to me, and he says, if you need to talk. I'm like, what? What is this? So I've reflected on it, and I'm thinking, how do I respond to this? Do I now go, yeah, all's good, I forgive you? Of course I forgive him. Don't care anymore, it's over. It's done. Forgive him, no problem. But do I now extend that forgiveness and continue the friendship? Or I couldn't, that's not what I'm going to do. So then I've got to go, well, I can do either a few ways. I can just either ignore him, or I can just say, no thanks, or I can explain to him what happened. I mean, which one of those is the right thing to do? Like, really? Because my instinct is to do a long text and just say, look, this is why. But what's he going to do? He's either going to do one of two things, I reckon. He's either just going to blow up again, or he's just going to call me a moron, or just say I'm wrong and say it was all me and it's all my fault, and it's just, I'm just being too sensitive, as people always tell me. So it's an interesting one. So I'm just going to sit on it. And not do anything for the minute. So I've just come in from the gym. So I said in that previous video, I alluded to a couple of these things that they were talking about inside of there at the gym. And I spoke about all the road rules. And they're just sitting behind the desk, and they had this woman on, and she's in full Muslim garb. Like, she's got all this Muslim shit on. I'm like, it's Australia. Why on earth have you got a Muslim on talking about road rules? It's like, really? I don't care. Like, if Muslims can be Muslims, I don't, like, whatever. It's just, we live in this world, it's just cesspit where people that are lying, people that are not in truth are celebrated, and those that are in truth, we're isolated, we're put to the corner, we're called morons because we know the earth's flat because that's what we see, and we don't feel the earth moving, and we know there's a creator because I've got light bulbs in my car, and and the Lord just touches my life every day, and it's tangible, and I tell people all that, and they just think I'm an idiot, or they just write it off because it's like, oh, they didn't know first. oh, they didn't have this experience with God first, so it doesn't count. It doesn't count. Your experience doesn't count, Brett. No. But no, we have to celebrate Muslims and their faith, and we have to just put up with the fact that the synagogue of Satan occupies Israel today, and if you ever say anything about them, you're a bigot and you're a racist and all this sort of stuff. But anyway, here's this Muslim in the interest of diversity and tolerance and all this crap they carry on with, and the two news presenters, they're throwing out their Masonic hand signs as they just giggle and laugh about all these safety rules and all these road rules, and it's like, oh, they're so obscure, aren't they? They're so hard to remember. On and on they went. Like, if you don't wear a seatbelt, and the fact you have to wear a seatbelt is just ridiculous. It's just as ridiculous as having to wear a bike helmet. I mean, if I want to risk all life and limb and not wear a seatbelt, that's my prerogative, surely. But no. And they're talking about how you can do this and you can't do that. And then they had a survivor's handbook for driving. And I thought to myself, I'd love to see that handbook. Is there a section in there where white SUVs won't tailgate, Brett? No, that won't be in there. That won't be in there, because all I've got to do is show tolerance. That's the key. I show tolerance to the tailgaters, because if I do anything, like you think when you're getting tailgated, what can you do? You can either put up with it or you can react. Now, if you react, what can you do? You can slow down, you can slam your brakes on suddenly, you can turn around, but everything you do, it's about your reaction. And they're like, what's wrong, you moron? Tailgaters, bullies, road rules, road rage. It's just, seriously. And there they are, there the Freemasons are, all laughing at us because they don't have to abide by these road rules. No. Of course they don't, because if they you see the police all the time, they're going faster than everyone else with no sirens on. And you look at the police, you look at the police. You look at the ambulance. Ambulance in particular, they've got a Knights Templar shield as their logo here in Australia. I don't even know this as I say it, but I just know I'm going to go home later and superpose this on that the police, the ambulances, the fire brigade, the emergency services, all of them are Freemasonic, and I will know they're Freemasonic because they'll have logos that are Freemasonic, that are of the Knights Templar, that are of the thugs of the world. Speaking of which, there was another news story on there where they're doing a royal commission onto mental health people that are mentally ill. People with disabilities. So they're up there today, all the Freemasons doing their Masonic hand signs. They are, as they go, oh yes, it's dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful the way society treats people with disabilities, as we have to donate to even more charities for people with disabilities. We have to pay more and more tax to the NDIS. And if you ever say anything, oh, Brett, they're disabled. How dare you? And now they're on there and they're doing a royal commission. Royal, what a royal. It's the Knights Templar. It's the thugs of the world. It's the Freemasons doing a royal commission, like that clip I put up there the other day where they do a royal commission into child sex trafficking. It's all controlled by the Freemasons. And what will they do to people with disabilities? What will they do to people in my family with disabilities? What will they do for your people in your family with disabilities? Nothing. Just like Kevin Rudd when he gets up there in 2007 and he says sorry to the stolen generation and all the wrongs done to Aboriginals. Up there he got, and everybody felt great, and he was a hero, and he was a god to be worshipped on earth, he was. And what's happened to Aboriginals since? Nothing. But everyone feels good, and everybody's praise be the Freemasons, and Brett's a moron because he believes in the Lord. And let's unfriend him from Instagram because he said that Jacinda Ardern's is a Freemason and a Harmony Day is from the pits of social progression hell. You can see I'm in a state, can't you? I'm going to my brother's tonight. I think I need to just go to my brother's. I haven't asked him yet, but he's generally all good. I think I just need to go to my brother's and just go and hang out with him. And I might even watch a little bit of football I just need a rest from all this, I think. It's just, but I just know it's going to happen. I'll sit there and watch the football and I'll see them do Masonic hand signs. And during the ads, they'll all be doing Masonic hand signs. And it's just, there's just no escape. There's just no escape from any of this. It's just doing my head in. What else did I see? There's been an election poll shock. So there's a federal election here looming the next few days. They're going to announce it. Our Freemason Prime Minister, Freemason Morrison, he's our Prime Minister for the day, and he's going to lose. So we're going to have like the 28th Prime Minister in 29 days here in Australia shortly. Freemason Shorten, he'll be getting up, I would say. But there's been a shock in the election poll. I've never been asked in these polls. And again, they're all run by the media, which is just run by Israel, run by Freemasonry. All of it just comes from Switzerland. And they do these polls because it's going to affect the way you vote. And even as I sit in this car this morning, I'm not even sure if how your vote's relevant either. Is it rigged? It seems America's rigged. Is Australia's? You'd be stupid to think that Australia's exempt from all this sort of Freemasonry, pre-existing, preordained, whoever's going to be the Prime Minister. But there's been some sort of poll shock, and it's like, whoa. So I've decided what I'm going to do with voting. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get my name marked off, and I'm just going to go straight over and put my things into the box. I think that's what I need to do, because if I don't participate and I get the fine, then I won't pay the fine. Then I've just got another battle, and I'm just in the world then, and it just keeps me away from the Lord. So I'm just thinking, yeah, there's a principle at stake, but I don't think the Lord really cares about the principle. He just wants me to get wise in his word and get closer to him. So just there's story after story in Nehemiah, Ezra and Esther where you just have to participate in the world while still following the Lord. So I'm just drawing on those scriptures today. So I think that's done. That's what I'm going to do. I asked what my brother does because he hates it too, and he said to me the other day that's what he does. But I think I might do the same. I might just go in there and do the same. They were also in there this morning. They were talking about pain medication, and they had this woman on. They had Asian she was Asian, of course, so a Muslim for the road rules and an Asian for the Asian, you racist Asian. Like it is, isn't it? If you say Asian, you're a racist. That's what they are. I'm white. It's funny, I can say a joke about a English person. We call them pommies here, and that's cool. I can make fun of New Zealand people, and that's fine. But if I make a joke against an Asian, that's racist. Why? I don't know. Because they look different? I don't know. I guess that goes against diversity, and that goes against multiculturalism and tolerance. And what do the English people do when I make a joke about them? What do the Kiwis do? They laugh. And what do I do when people make racial jokes against me? I laugh. Just because that's what people should be doing. But anyway, I'm not being racist by saying Asian. But anyway, here's this Asian lady on there talking about pain medication, and her and the news presenter are there doing Masonic hand signs, and it's like, and they go, it's such a massive, massive problem. They've got their biggest care face on. It's like, it's like when you people ask you what you're doing for Christmas, and you go, no, nothing. And they go, oh, are you okay? And you've got to get that head tilt, just right. Are you okay? Poor you. You've got no plans for Christmas. And that's how these two birds were carrying on this morning. They're carrying on going, oh, it's such a problem. We need to give them this pill. And we need to give them that pill, as they throw to the news segment where they care so much for our safety with wearing seatbelts, and they're going to fine you $336 if you don't wear one. But I see all this shit, and I'm a moron. I know the Earth's flat. Well, I think it's flat because it looks flat, and it doesn't move, and the sun's just a small electrical distance right there. I can see it. It's just there. And the sun and moon are the same size because they are the same size and the same distance away. Or now I'm a moron for thinking that. Or let's just say the moon's 400,000 k's away and the sun's 93 million miles away, and they just happen to be in that perfect position where they appear the same size. And that's not moronic. It's time for a coffee. It's time for Brett to settle down. It's been a rough few days as I find more and more truth and it gets more and more uncovered to me. It's time to settle down and it's time just to, what do they say, just to chill out. And I'm going to go in, have my coffee, start the book of John, and I might just spend a couple of days with my brothers, at my brother's place. All right, thank you again, brothers and sisters, for listening. Thanks for coming on this walk with me. You mean a lot. It means a lot that you are with me, and I just pray that you do stay with me because I am legitimate. There's not many channels like this on YouTube who are just searching for truth, that don't have an agenda, that are just putting down their walk with the Lord as a diary. You can absolutely trust me in my motives. You can absolutely trust me in what I'm saying is all I want is truth. Absolutely pray for discernment about what I'm saying and don't always believe what I'm saying because all I'm doing is seeking truth. That means I don't know it, I'm seeking it, and I'm putting down my thoughts as I think I find it, but I also put down my musings as what I think the truth may be. And that's why I want my brothers and sisters to come back and start talking to me again, because I need your help. I want your help. It's very, very lonely at the moment. I want your help. I want the fellowship to start again. All right, all praise, and this is something I'm confused about again, is what do I call Jesus? Is it Yeshua or Jesus? I watched the sermon there last night from a pastor who I actually still respect, and I don't think he's a Freemason. I think his name's Steve Perry. He was murdered about a year ago. I think he died about a year ago, and a lot of the stuff that comes out of him is really, really good. He was talking about intercession last night. And intercession is just critical, isn't it? I mean, some of us, some people's calling is to be an intercessor. I don't believe it's mine, but I believe every one of us within the body of Christ should be intercessing with others because, I mean, if Jesus just did it all, that means we wouldn't have free will, you know? So when I was back in my affliction of drinking there, Jesus didn't just come down and just take drinking away from me. No, it was my free will to do it, and that's God's grace. He's given us all free will. But this guy explained it there in this sermon last night. He explained it just beautifully. He says, by intercessing, what you do is you take Satan off you. You take the demon's hands are on you. He takes them off just for a minute, and Jesus knocks. And do you answer the door? And that's what a good intercessor does. And I've prayed for my brother this morning because I want him to find the Lord. And I'm going to go to his place today and hang out with him. And hopefully that, but just my being there, it might open the door. I really feel both of my brothers could be close. But you meet them and you talk to them, you wouldn't think that. But in my heart, I believe they're close because they've got truth in them. So I'm going to be an intercessor today, and I just implore that we all intercess with each other and with our loved ones and people that you think just need the Lord, that might need prayer, that might need help, and just might need just to hear that knock of the Lord. So intercession, very, very important, guys, and something that I've really been reminded of this morning. So all power and glory goes to Jesus Christ, our King, our Saviour, the King of Judah, the King of the world.
Time to change your mind, the sun has come, you've been left behind.